Hello, welcome to another stream of Mass Effect. I did a stream about a couple of hours ago my time, and we're working on more side stuff. And most likely I'll be doing more side stuff, because there seems to be a lot of side stuff. And I want to try and get as much side stuff done in this game as possible. So with that end in mind, let's actually have a look at those quests, or assignments, as the game specifically calls them. Alright, so I want to do this other quest that we were given by someone at the Citadel. This particular mission, though, unlike the other two missions that I did in the previous stream, which were given to me by Citadel characters, this actual quest giver won't be at the Citadel when this quest is actually finished. Here we go. Helena Blake. Eliminate 2 of our unpleasant compatriots. Their bases are located in the Han and Dis systems. Alright. Gemini Sigma. Han. Let's go to the Han system. Flying solo.
Commander, urgent message from Alliance Command coming in. I'll patch it through.
Shepard, this is Admiral Hackett from Alliance Command. We've got a situation here and you're the only one that can handle it.
How come every time there's a problem you end up running to me?
You're a Spectre, Shepard. And this isn't some run-of-the-mill mission. There's an Alliance training ground where we test weapons and technology in live-fire simulations. One of the VIs we use to simulate enemy tactics in the drills is no longer responding to our override commands. It's gone rogue.
Are you telling me this computer is thinking on its own?
We're not stupid, Shepard. This is a virtual intelligence, not a true AI. It's not self-aware, and it can't access any external systems. We didn't do anything illegal here. Virtual intelligence support is critical to our military success. VIs process thousands of status reports and react in nanoseconds. No human can do that. We need you to fight your way through the training ground of the VI core and manually disable it.
Don't worry, Admiral. I'll take that thing out.
I know Spectres answer the Council, but you're still human. You're still part of the Alliance military. And right now, we need you. The VI controls all the facility's weapons, drones, and automated defenses. You're the only one that can pull this off, Shepard. Good luck.
Renegade Shepard's like, of course I am. I'm the only one capable of this. No one else is. What are you talking about? Hack it. If they can't hack it, I will. System. Wonder which one is actually the one that I need to go to for this side mission. Hey, good morning, Cons. Morning to you as well. I hope things are going good. I don't know if this is where I need to go for that mission or if that's a different mission. Well, that answers that question. We can't go to that one, so this one it is.
route. On my way.
Hey there, Harbinger. See, you found a new home. Yeah, this planet, we hadn't actually been on it yet, but I'd actually looked at it and read information on it. But now we're here for a side mission.
Form up.
Hostile contact.
I'm on it.
Crime Lord defeated. Helena was right. These guys had quite the operation going, but that's all going to change. One down, just one more to go. Nice.
I think we're good, Commander.
Regroup!
I like the upgrade I've got for this weapon. The Thunder 4. Plus I've got the Shredder rounds and the improved Sighting 3 as well. So there's another aspect to this mission that I need to do as well on a different planet. Alright. I don't like to see 0 skill points available for a character in a game, and when I get down to 1 point, it means I obviously want to have something in the bank, so we'll wait on that. We can't actually access the leveling up for the other characters when we're actually on the Normandy like this. Alright, so which one was it? Hostile takeover. Alright, now we need to go to the DIS system of the Hades Gamma DIS. New Hades Gamma, who dis? Alright, so need to see which planet was the one that we could actually land on. I've already read and also analysed these planets. but I can't remember which one had the ability to land on them. Nearum. Wish there was a planet called Farum. And so I think that's the one, but just to eliminate. Yep, it is that one. Hey there, Crooked Toad. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. I hope you're going well. Harbinger, you have an Arnie scene, but you're waiting for you to finish Mass Effect 2 because it contains spoilers, does it? Ah, okay, Harbinger. That's fair enough. This may change as I go through the game and get further into it, but for now, I'm pretty happy with the Rex and Tali combination. But as I said, that could change. But I wanted to make sure that I still had all other available characters, potential characters that I could switch to, just in case I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not feeling this, and jump into something else and all that type of stuff. I know obviously there's probably some fan favorite characters that people expect new players to choose as well, but so far, even though Tali was not my first choice, as in the game was like, hey, you need to take this character with you, I know that she has a big following, but Rex was a character that when I first came across him, I was just like, that's a great character. And then there was a quest that we did where I can't remember the context of it now, but oh yeah, General Septimus. With General Septimus, where we convinced him to get off his ass and stop whining and actually go and speak to the consort or whatnot. And the character had something to say, and then Rex was like, it's better than sitting on your ass all day. And that made me like him even more. So I've got him as part of the squad at the moment. Croquet, no problem, just got done finishing Power Wash Simulator, tons of fun, time to enjoy some Mass Effect it seems. I've never actually played any of those games, but it was pointed out to me that, I don't know if it's the very latest of that game, but there's actually a Tomb Raider Power Wash Simulator where you go to her mansion / manor, and you have to use the power wash and all that on it, which I thought was quite funny. Especially too when you consider that Lara actually has a butler, and he's supposed to do all that work. However, the butler is probably like 80 years old, and I'm pretty sure the butler is fed up with Lara locking him into the freezer all the time. So he's probably like, fuck this, I'm not going to clean this place, I'm going to let it go to ruin. And meanwhile, Lara's off somewhere probably exploring for a few months, and Winston's like, bugger this, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go on a holiday, and I don't care if the manor gets dirty. I'm not saying that's probably what's in it, but I mean, hey, that seems like something Winston would want to do. Hey there, Fuller. I hope things are going good. Croquet, yes sir, it comes out on the 31st. That's why you jumped in. You wanted to finish the campaign before it releases. Oh, nice. That's a good idea. It's always good to get in early, and then that way too you can also avoid potential spoilers. And, you know, when people think of spoilers, they generally think just, you know, this character does this, or this character dies, or that happens. But spoilers can also be visual as well, like some people don't want to actually visually have any idea of what something looks like until they play the game for the first time. So that's definitely understandable. Exactly, and all the best equipment unlocked as well. Oh, that's nice too, as well. That's extra icing on top of the cake. Why was Darth Vader referred to as Lord Vader? Because calling him Master Vader made all the stormtroopers giggle. That's nice one, Mr. Goatee. I would have thought too that calling him Master Vader would have triggered him, and it'd be like, you know, I never reached the rank of Master. Hey there, Code. Welcome. Some flat cleaning, so you may seem to be human for the delivery person tomorrow. It's funny, Code. In the first Tomb Raider movie, there's a scene where her manor gets attacked, and there's a big like fight scene and shootout and all that type of stuff. Anyway, the next morning, everything's a mess, and her butler and her tech guy are all just sort of like sorting through stuff. but there's actually a package that Lara's receiving, and the delivery dude walks all the way from the entrance through to where Lara's standing, and meanwhile he's like mouth open looking at everything that's destroyed, and Lara sees his reaction, of course, and in typical and lovable Lara Croft fashion, as soon as he gets near, she sort of like smiles, and then she drops the smile. She's like, "I just woke up this morning and hated everything." And then the dude's like, yeah, here's your package." You know, I haven't thought of this game for years, and I never played it myself, but there was a game that I think it might have been made by the same people who did Cannon Fodder, but it was called Syndicate. Let's have a look. Cannon Fodder game. Ah, so they did one in 2011. Did not even know that. The only one I ever played was the first one, and it was the Super Nintendo version. So that was released in 1993, and then they did, I think the same company did the Syndicate game. 1993, okay, same year. Bullfrog Productions. Huh, it was founded by Peter Molyneux and Les Edgar. It's probably a different company. I might have actually seen both games rentable from the video store on Super Nintendo, and my 39-year-old memory all those years later is thinking that they were made by the same people. No. But yeah, I haven't thought about that game for a very long time. Just looking at the word Syndicate on the map in this game, in this mission, made me think of it. Which is weird because I've mentioned or heard mentioned the Assassin's Creed Syndicate game and talked about it in recent times, so you would have thought I would have thought about that Syndicate game during that, but here we are. Alright. Heard the company was Bullfrog, you think? Ah yeah, Bullfrog. Yep. Yeah, it's funny what games you just don't ever think about until years and years later, and then you're like, that's right, that was actually a game. And it was funny too, like back in those days, because when you were renting something from the video store, if there was a game like Secret of Mana, for example, and my friend and I at the time would love renting that game, but you never knew if the save file that you created when you rented the movie the last weekend, you wouldn't know if someone's rented it during the week, and if you were lucky, your save file would still be there, and the person who rented it between you and when you rented it again might have actually deleted someone else's save. So it was a bit like musical chairs in a way, with the save files on certain games when it was the video store renting it as well. And you'd be like, hopefully save isn't saved over. But if it was, you were still happy to play the game, so you're just like, fuck it, we'll just restart it from the start. Or you'd be like, fine, we'll delete the other person's save file. You know, I can't even remember now the last video game I rented. Maybe it was Silent Hill Downpour. In fact, it might have been, because I wasn't sure on the game before it came out, and I wanted to rent it first before committing to buy it. And that's when I knew, I'm not really in a rush to buy it, so I waited till it was on sale for very, very cheap. Hey there, Shadow Healer. Good tidings to you as well. Welcome to the stream. I hope things are going great. We're just doing the second half of a side quest. Or rather, we're dealing with the second set of enemies that we had to deal with.
Lost shields!
Second crime lord defeated. That's both of them. No doubt Helena Blake will be overjoyed to learn that these two scum are no longer a problem.
All clear.
Shadow, it's been a while. How has the rebranding been? Oh, it's been going good. I'm very happy with it. For 6 years having the same channel name, I also wanted to shake things up a bit because I feel that I spent enough time with that same username, and that's only one reason. There's many reasons. Another one was because I wanted to have a shorter name, because I felt like having the name be 3 words, but it's not just the fact that there's 3 words. It was actually so many different syllables. So when someone was saying it, like some people felt like they had to say the whole username every time they addressed me, which I was fine with in terms of like I don't mind that being the case, but I thought that it'd be good to have a shorter name. That way when people actually want to say the name when I appear in chat and type and whatnot, that they don't have to feel like they need to say the whole name. So shortening it to Rod Legion was just, you know, something, because I had the name in mind since halfway through last year, but I didn't want to actually change it halfway through the year. I felt it would be better if I changed it when a new year was starting, and here we are in 2023. New username. I took away the horror focus, because as much as I love horror games, and I will still stream them, especially in October, I felt that the name implied to some people that maybe, and this is just at first glance, maybe that I was just a horror only streamer, and that sort of thing is twofold. Some might be like, oh cool, a horror only streamer. I'm looking for someone who only streams horror games. Let's see what they're streaming. Oh, they're streaming Assassin's Creed, that's not horror. You know, or the other way around, someone might be like, oh, I don't really like horror games, but there might be a game that I play that they might enjoy, but they might be put off by the channel name, and then, you know, so I think there's a couple of different ways that could be interpreted with a name like that in terms of that stuff. But yeah, I still will be playing horror games, of course, because this is, I mean, it's my favorite genre, so I will still be playing them on the channel. But also, I wanted to keep Rod as part of the username too, because I know people knew me as that before. and that would just make things a bit easier. Thankfully, I've actually had a few people who didn't know that I was changing the name, and they weren't able to tune in when I actually changed it, but something about the name, they were like, hang on, that seems familiar. And thankfully they looked, and they were able to go, ah, it's you, Rod, of course. Hey there, Rosie. I hope things are going well. Have you noticed none of these bases are livable? Presumably these guys just stand around in combat gear all day, high-fiving each other. And just sitting around and hoping that someone is going to attack where they are, and maybe they'll get food off them. Whatever food they already took and brought with them, if it starts to run out, they hope that someone else just turns up with food that they can kill. Shadow, they might be also put off if they don't like Rob Zombie. That's another thing too. They might think, oh, this streamer's just gonna talk about Rob Zombie all day, every day, is he? I don't want to hear about that. But the ironic thing was, as much as I do like some of his stuff, I'm more of a fan of his music than his movies. But having said that, I haven't heard every song of his, just like I haven't seen every movie of his. But for example, my favourite song of his is actually Return of the Phantom Stranger. I just love the whole intro to that song, and it has a really cool aspect to it as well. Plus, being a horror fan. Ah, I've just wasted that. Yeah, that's got a long friggin' delay on it. Like, whoops. Code, 30% of the left leg is now dark purple. A bit more other colors. You could say your left leg has visited a rave without you. Really, Code? Damn, that doesn't sound good at all. Like, doesn't sound really good. What is it, is it bruising or something? Alright. We may have finished that part of the mission, but there is still some stuff I want to actually take a look at. And also, there's some minerals of some kind over this way. So yep, bruising, but that means it's healing up. Well, hopefully the process won't be too long, Code, as well. Platinum deposit. Heavy metal surveyed. You have successfully surveyed a deposit of platinum. You can't kill the metal. The metal will live on. So another week most likely, Code. Hopefully it doesn't, change as in the opposite way. Hopefully it keeps improving. Shadow Healer, thank you so much for redeeming the random Assassin's Creed character quote. Let's get this vehicle situated and save it just in case. Alrighty then, so we have a quote. Okay, so here we go. I've got a random Assassin's Creed character quote. When we assassinate only those who deserve it. The few sick souls who try to control us. But they will never know who we are. Cold, calculated, poets of the kill. So that is from Assassin's Creed Origins, and that quote is by Aya. Code and mobility is maybe 80%. Twisting to some direction still is quite painful, is it? Ooh, that really sucks. Yeah, I hope it really stops being pain for you as well too, Code. And this is the thing, right? As much as pain on its own is enough, you can also get that extra little bit of fuck this when you have like an annoying aspect to it, you know? Like you might have a sore foot, right? And it might not be sore enough to stop you from, you know, getting up and, you know, walking over to something, but it might prevent you from being able to run. So if you're someone who likes to run in the mornings, then you're not going to be able to run. And so along with the pain of your foot, you'd also have the annoyance of, oh, great, I can't go running now until this is healed kind of thing. Shadow Rod has been pretty quiet. Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'm eating something and I don't want to have... Not that I actually eat with my mouth open like that, even when I'm on my own, but I don't want to sort of like put those sounds on, or if I'm, you know, drinking something, like I don't want to have, you know, all those sound effects coming through on the stream. I know some streamers don't mind, and that's okay. And I know that some viewers don't mind. But personally, I like to not make those sorts of noises when I'm streaming. Or if I'm sort of like not having much to say or stuff like that as well. However, sometimes it's because I accidentally don't have my mic turned on and I'm saying stuff and then I realise, oh shit, I haven't actually had my mic on. That happens sometimes too. Discovery. There's old footprints leading away from this escape pod, but no sign of any survivors. Not even any footprints of an astromech droid or a protocol droid. How disappointing. We're sorry, Rod, but those sci-fi characters are in another sci-fi franchise. You both love and hate driving the Mako. Yeah, when I was controlling it for the first time in yesterday's stream, it took me a while to get used to when actually driving around an enemy like this, to actually get used to how to move the vehicle and the camera and also keep an eye on what's going on. Because for those who don't actually know, see how I've got the vehicle facing forward. Now if I hold forward on the control stick, this obviously happens, and if you hold back, this obviously happens. However, if you have the vehicle like that and you have the turret on the side, going forward then becomes moving right on the control stick. And then going back is moving left. If you try to move up when the turret is in this position and the vehicle's in that position, this is what happens. It spins around like that. And so you can imagine when you're actually trying to defeat a giant enemy and you're using the tactic like I do, where you actually keep circling around the enemy while still keeping it in aim and view and firing at it, you basically have to make sure that you're holding right on the control stick and then turning the turret while still holding the control stick to the right to get that effect. And then keep on going, and then if you need to change, you need to quickly sort of go like that. Because what will happen is, let's just say I'm fighting an enemy and I have it set up like this and I'm moving right. If I suddenly move back, it does that and changes your orientation, which could put you off what you're actually trying to do. So it is a bit tricky and I'm slowly getting used to it. I'll probably never in this playthrough actually get it perfected, and probably never ever get it perfected, but I feel more comfortable with the controls and controlling it while aiming as well at the same time, so that's helping. Medallion recovered. This dead traveller had a League of One medallion. Where he found it and what he was trying to do with it is unclear. Oh yeah, Shadow. Pardon me, those bloody Thresher Moors. When I first came across it, I was like, oh, this is so cool. This reminds me of a extremely giant version of the creatures in the Tremors movies called Graboids. But after that first encounter, and it kicked my ass, and then it kicked my ass multiple times until I got used to how to actually control this damn thing and shoot and circle around it at the same time. Then it got a bit better. Let's look at the map. Alright, we've sussed out all those spots there. What is kind of like a bit misleading and confusing is that exclamation mark which is there, before you even go to an exclamation mark where a mission is located, that will be there for you. So you'll go and then you'll finish your objective, but the exclamation mark will still stay on there. So if you don't keep an eye out on it, you could basically go, oh, I must have missed something back there. There must have been something in the location that I also needed to grab as part of the mission. But when you go there, there's nothing, because it still comes up as an exclamation mark. I don't know if that was in the original version, because if it is, and it's in this version too, then it's like, BioWare, what are you doing? Why did you not make that also something part of the remaster? And the thing is, not having played the original, I've got no point of reference from first-hand experience to go from. So I'm pretty much judging this remaster based on how it actually is as a game, more so than how it is as a remaster. But one aspect I can say is kind of a bit weird, if it is also in the original, is why it wasn't fixed for this remaster. Just to make it clearer to the player that they've done it. Even if they had to change it to a, even if they changed it to an X like it is on the other things that you interact with and finish, that would have been much better. Alright, let's just save it here and take it from there. That's okay, game. I didn't actually want to do that. It's just that the timing of me pressing the back button. Alright, so this is where we want to go. And what do we have here?
On my way. You lead, I'll follow.
Alrighty then, that's that done. Now, whilst I'll take over. Okay, so we need to go to the Horsehead. Okay, Fortuna system in the Horsehead Nebula. Okay, don't think I have access to that area yet, but maybe I do now. So I'll just double check. Horsehead Nebula Fortuna system. Okay, I never saw this as an option before. It's on Novaria. Strenus. Pax. Pax Romani, I think? Romanus? Ah, Fortuna. Bib Fortuna. Hey, off-the-shelf reviews. Thank you so much for leaving the lurk. I really do appreciate it. Welcome on in. I hope you had a great rest of your Wild West stream. Or Evil West. That's right, sorry. Evil West, that was the name of it. I haven't actually played that myself, but if it's a good mix of Western genre plus horror, then I wouldn't mind checking it out at some point. No worries at all. Hope you're having a good, it'd be morning your time there, wouldn't it, in the UK, so hopefully it's off to a good start, and that you're having a great week as well. We're currently doing some side quest stuff, and I may as well read up on these planets now that I'm here as well. Evil West has been a good blast. Excellent, that's awesome. And with the other game, High on Life, do you know roughly how far into the game you got? And as a streamer, I can imagine for sure that having the frequency of the gun talking to you being, you know, even on normal would be, you know, doing your head in enough. But then imagine having it on the other option too, where it's more constant. You wouldn't be able to get a word in at all. You're chilling with morning coffee and Mass Effect sounds putting you back to sleep. Oh, nice. Yeah, this music is awesome. I was actually listening to it on its own while I was doing some other stuff, and I had it on loop. One of those, you know, 1 hour videos, and just kept on, you know, listening to that. Oh man, High on Life was not stream friendly for you anyway. Yeah, I'd be the same way, to be honest. I'd have to pause it every time, or just basically, you know, hope that they start saying the same dialogue over again and stuff like that. But who knows how many hours worth of dialogue they actually recorded to be able to have the character speak for that long, you know, and that often, even on normal frequency alone. Therumlon. Therumlon is a frigid world with a thick nitrogen-argon atmosphere. The crust consists of silicates and various unremarkable ores, but is surprisingly rich in phosphates. Since the atmosphere lacks free oxygen, the phosphates are relatively pure and could be of value in the manufacture of fertilizers and incendiary ammunition. Rare elements surveyed. While scanning this planet, you detected a small but valuable deposit of plutonium. Doc Brown would be proud. You weren't even a quarter way through the game? Oh no. Jeez. I'm surprised Well, if it did happen, I wouldn't be surprised if you had a dream about the gun talking to you all the time. Like, imagine something like that talking to you from sun up to sundown. Wentania. Hard data on Wentania is very limited. When the system was charted by the Alliance surveyor Coupe, only a small, unmanned flyby probe was spared for the distant world. It is a small rock and ice planet with a trace atmosphere of krypton and sulfur dioxide. Normandy's more detailed survey suggests the frozen terrestrial may be a suitable target for mining. While it is largely water ice, mapping of mass concentration suggests it has a core of pure aluminium. We'll have to find the Red Letter Media film commentary track that's hidden in High on Life at some point though. Oh really? There's even one hidden in... Oh, that's cool. That's actually really cool to make it a hidden thing as well. Make people persevere through hearing the weapons talk to you 24/7 to actually get it. Maganlis is a rock terrestrial with an atmosphere of sulfur dioxide and trace amounts of helium. Scans reveal ancient lava plains on the surface, implying a geologically active past. The crust consists of sulfur and basalts, but the planet's mass suggests a core or iron and heavier materials. Cursory drill coring suggests the possibility of simple subterranean life. Turian insignia recovered. While scanning the planet Maganlis, you discovered the remains of a damaged research vessel. Your recon team found no signs of survivors, but they did bring back a Rocam outpost insignia. Amaranthine. Amaranthine is a chilly rock world with an atmosphere of carbon dioxide and nitrogen. Its frozen surface consists largely of light titanium and aluminum oxides, with deposits of thorium and other heavy metals located in the deep crust. Amaranthine was named by the human poet Sofia Cabral during her tour of duty aboard the Alliance surveyor ship Coupe. Under the dim light of the red dwarf Fortuna, the surface of this world is lit in rich twilight blues and purples, even at midday. I didn't really mean to land, whoops. But maybe this is actually where I need to go anyway for the quest. You'll love when that happens, not? Let's have a look at the map. Engineering outpost? I think that's the one that we need. Go to the Fortuna system in the Horsehead Nebula and meet Helena Blake to claim your reward. Hang on. This awesome music again. Okay, so I am in the right spot. Alright, cool. Was just second guessing myself. Deja vu, anyone? There we go, a random reference from Resident Evil, the first movie. I don't know where I pulled that one from. I remember watching the first Resident Evil movie when it came out and being absolutely crazy for it, and I was very much looking forward to what the next movie would be, and never would I have guessed that we would get a sequel where Nemesis becomes the good guy at the end of the story. It's like, what? I know that in life he was actually a human that was actually a good character, but still. It's a bit ridiculous. And then you have Jill, who, while she does look like the character does in Resident Evil 3, she's an asshole to everyone. Heavy metal surveyed. You have successfully surveyed a small deposit of iridium. And of course, you can't have an OG legacy character from a long-running series who is actually one of the most iconic characters in it be upstaged. You can't let that character upstage a newly created character who only existed since the first movie. You know, we can't have that happening. May as well save as well, just in case something goes terribly wrong. Because like Eek the cat, even though he says it never hurts to help, he ends up getting hurt. And you never know what's going to happen when Eek the cat says it never hurts to help. Except for the fact that there'll be pain, but you don't know how that pain will be inflicted. Off-the-shelf reviews, right? First film set things up, but second film promised to have game elements. The excitement was real, and then we got what we got. And that is how the Resident Evil movies then went on from that point too. I think the most interesting sequel visually was Extinction, because at least it had like a Mad Max Wild West kind of motif going on with it, but yeah, those movies are definitely not what you would point to and say, this is exactly how you adapt the source material into a movie. Yeah, third film kind of holds up. In a little way, it does, yeah. I mean, it was cool to introduce Claire, but of course, she doesn't mention Chris at all. And we get no sense of what her past was before she got to that situation. You know, is it like the games, or is it different to the games? You know, we just never know. Like, I don't even think there was a scene where Claire speaks to Alice and Alice is like, I was there in Raccoon City when everything went to shit. And there's no scene where Claire is like, oh really, I was there too. You know, I was looking for my brother. Like, there's none of that at all. You know, you would expect something, like a little bit of a taste of Claire's character from the source material being included in at least one scene. But nope. Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's just ridiculous. And then in the next movie afterwards, all of a sudden it's like, you know, she has no memory straight away or whatnot. Maybe I'm misremembering that, but maybe I'm thinking of the first movie, and that's been mixed in with the fourth movie. But Chris is like, oh yeah, I'm just chilling in a jail cell because something happened. I can't remember what happened in the movie. It mustn't have been that important. But he gets put in the prison cell and no one trusts him. And he recognizes Claire, but Claire doesn't, because I think she's still, that's right, she's still suffering from the effects of being parasited. Or whatever you want to, however you want to put it. I think I just made that word up just now, parasited. Like, what happened to you last week? Oh yeah, I just got parasited. Oh, I hate when I get parasited too. That really sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, like, there's no, like, and there's nothing where Chris is like, hey Claire, it's me, Chris. Or like, hey, here's a picture of us. You know, or, you know, this is the last thing you said to me when we spoke to each other. Or, hey, you know, I had to deal with some stuff and I wasn't there, you know, in Raccoon City. You know, something, you know. But nope, none of that. Can't even reference stuff. During insignia recovered, you found an intricate beaded necklace marked with the Galatana colony insignia. It appears to be very old. So old, in fact, that if you breathe on it, it will explode in your face. So be careful with it. Hey, Hitpigs. The Last of Us TV show is a good adaptation. It's so good. Well, that's good, because you never know. It's like a like a Russian roulette sometimes with video game adaptations. Regardless of the medium it's been adapted to as well. But that's good that it's getting some good reviews, it seems, also. So many missed opportunities with the Resident Evil movies, and even though I haven't seen the Welcome to Raccoon City Resident Evil movie, it's one of those situations now where unless I go to see a movie day one, I'm going to get spoiled for it. So I just go, oh well, whatever spoilers I find out, I find out. And the premise seemed interesting, i.e. let's actually adapt Resident Evil 1 and 2 into the same story, and I was like, well, they don't happen in the same 24-hour period, but might be able to make it work. And then the director was citing movies like John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13 as inspirations, the idea of characters trapped inside a isolated location and all that. And I was like, this sounds great. But then I hear, oh, they've turned Leon into a buffoon. And the director, even though he's a big fan of my favourite John Carpenter movie, Big Trouble in Little China, he was like, oh, let's make Leon Kennedy a bumbling idiot buffoon like Jack Burton is. It's like, dude, do you even understand the character of Jack Burton? You can't just take that aspect of Jack Burton and then say, I'm going to apply it to this completely different character who has nothing in common with Jack Burton at all. You know, and it was like, what? Now, I know some people were like, with the casting of him, they were like, we want the Leon who's white with blonde hair and all that. But my issue was, why turn him into a bumbling idiot for? That just doesn't make any sense.
Hello again, Commander Shepard. I owe you a debt of gratitude. With my former partners dead, this syndicate is now mine. I could not have done it without you.
Those men deserve to die. Now, are we gonna have a problem?
Not if I can help it, Commander. I hope you can see that I am by far a lesser evil than those men. Under my leadership, this organization will restrict itself to gambling and smuggling illegal technologies. There will be no drugs and no slave-taking for the Batarians. Those days are over.
Ooh, yes, we get a renegade option. Got parasited. Should make that a thing now. It sounded great on paper. The director said all the things you wanted to hear, and then we got what we got. Then again, Welcome to Raccoon Town looked rough from the first cast images, just judging by the costumes and lack of sets. Yeah, you know, and as much as the original Resident Evil and the first 3 games, and even the games after, do have this element too, but the really early ones were more strongly B-grade horror movies in video game form. So you were kind of expecting a bit of that in like an adaptation, especially if the director, as he claimed, was a fan of the original games, and that's something that fits, you know. Even the dialogue, as much as it is terrible when you actually hear it and all that, but it really fits that B-grade kind of feel so well. And so you expect a little bit of that in a Resident Evil movie adaptation, but even then that doesn't mean anything, because you could still deliver a terrible movie. There's been, you know, movies that are B-grade that are awesome, and then you get ones that are crap and have no redeeming qualities, you know, so it can go either way sometimes. No Barry Burton at all. Pfft. I mean, is it even Resident Evil without Barry Burton in it? I have this.
I'm giving you one chance to live through this. Shut this gang down.
I cannot believe you place such a high priority on stopping such petty, victimless crimes. If I disband the gang, I walk away freely. I have not come so far to be arrested. I would die before going to prison. I would most certainly kill before going to prison. Now, do we have a deal?
It's so funny because Renegade Shepard wouldn't care either way, I feel. So it'd be no. But, having said that though, why does Renegade Shepard even give a shit if the Syndicate is still going? You know what I mean? So, I think I'm going to go for now, because then that creates a situation where it's like, well, would a Renegade Shepherd actually, be trustworthy or not? So I'm going to go with for now. Even though no is the Renegade option, I'm going to go with for now.
You're free to go. I don't ever want to see this gang again. If I do...
You won't. I'm not so foolish as to break my word to a Spectre. Now, if you'll excuse me, my men become nervous in the presence of law enforcement agents. Goodbye, Shepard.
Goodbye, Shepard. Dun dun dun. I wonder. No. I'll still shoot up the place. You like this, huh? Huh? You like me coming in here and just shooting around?
Go, go, go!
What the fuck? He's not attacking me, but I made that thing blow up in his face. They tweeted out last week that it's likely Welcome to Raccoon Town will be getting a sequel. Oh no. What are they going to do? Adapt Resident Evil 3, Code Veronica, and 4 in the one movie? Mercenary doesn't want to talk, it seems. Hit pigs, yep, murder does make you go to prison. Exactly, hit pigs. That's very, very true. Oh, I see, we can't talk to them. Okay. I thought that the reason I couldn't talk to this enemy over here, or not that they're really an enemy, but I thought I couldn't talk to them because of what happened. The thing exploding in front of him. But hang on, how come my manual save before I even did the shooting? I reloaded that and the game is still acting as if that still happened with the shooting. Maybe if I leave the building and then go back in, the game will reset itself in that respect. It's so funny too, because with the whole Renegade system, one of the quests that I did early in the game was there was this alien who wanted to do experiments on the gambling machines, and he told Shepard what he wanted to do and whatnot, and I accepted the mission to actually go and use it. But then I thought to myself, hey, what if I actually give it back? Like, what if I actually, give it to the dude who's in charge of the casino, and what would be the result? Because I thought that would be something that a Renegade Shepherd would do. To the guy's face, it'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll take this device and I'll go and do the job for you because you got kicked out and when you were caught doing it. But then be like, sucker, and just give it to the owner of the casino. And when I first say this, it might seem like it was a dumb thing to do, given the fact that the only reward that the casino owner gave me was some free credits to use on the gambling machine. The thing is, though, once I had those free credits, and I actually won money with that, the money that I won was a decent amount, so that was enough for me to consider that win based on getting free credits to be enough of a reward from that guy. And of course, when I went back to the quest giver, in true Renegade fashion, I told the dude straight up that I gave the device away. And it was like, that's years worth of work. And my Renegade Shepherd would be like, so whatever, see ya, and just walk off. So that's how I dealt with that character. Then there was a case too where the Renegade option didn't really feel much of a Renegade response, and I was sort of kind of like, that seems a bit too positive for what you would think a Renegade choice would be in that situation. Return to the Normandy. And let us save. And let's have a look at squad from... that's right, I keep forgetting. You can't look at your whole squad when you're in the Normandy. Not to worry. How's our equipment going though? That's a good thing to check out. Whoa, okay, so we've got... Oh no, that's the same. Don't know why I thought... I know what happened. I was looking more at the stats than I was at the actual fact that the name of the rifle and the stats are the same as the rifle that I already have. Sometimes in games like this I'm a bit of a hoarder, where I'll just keep items. Even if you can sell or dismantle them, I still keep them. Whoa, I didn't actually take notice of how much money Shepard has. 118,589 credits. So in this game so far, I haven't actually spent any money on buying anything. There was an occasion where I bought some heavy armor, but then I changed my mind, so I reloaded the save that I had before I actually bought it. But yeah, since that point, I've never even done that same thing to spend money on weaponry or armor or other items. So I've just been letting it build up and build up over time. Eventually in the playthrough, because I'm still very early, like, I mean, it took me a long time to get off the Citadel from the first visit. So who knows, eventually I might get to a point where I start buying a lot of stuff. Hit Pigs, the same, was it? Oh, sorry, Hit Pigs, you'll have to refresh my memory what that's referring to. Most of the time, I'm good with remembering what comments were actually related to. So, if you don't mind going into further detail, that'd be great. Thanks, dude. Oh, about not selling your items in this type of game. I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it can be a good tactic, because if you're happy with what you're finding in the game, then you don't really need to worry about, at least early on, buying the best weapon. And it just lets you build up things over time. And then there's just the satisfaction in games where you've done a lot of the side content first, and then once you actually jump back into the main story, you're pretty OP. I did that with the first Watch Dogs the first time I played that game. I did all the side stuff. I did some of the main missions, but I didn't really get that far in the story. But I did all the side stuff that I could do. And I was so OP by that point as well. And it's a good feeling to get to that point. So in some games I don't mind just holding on until later on. Let's see. We've been getting a lot of quests that have been given to us from Bishop. Hackett. Alright, let's have a look at this. Alright, so the probe signal is coming from the Amazon system in the Voyager cluster. Okay, so we need to go to Voyager cluster and Amazon. Just want to make note of something. Alright, so I've been to Horsehead Nebula, more specifically to Fortuna. But I haven't yet explored all the other planets, and by explore I should actually say I haven't actually examined from outer space, because whenever there's a planet that I can land on, I don't land on it straight away, because just in case there's a side quest or something there. But I need to make note of the fact that I need to visit the rest of Horsehead Nebula, because I want to be very thorough and actually get everything, especially when you scan for materials, and sometimes you get like collectibles related to side quests as well. Voyager cluster and Amazon. Here we go. Maybe this is the one? If it's the only one we can land on, and that's the one. Here we go. Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars.
The signal's coming from a mine?
This smells.
I agree. The probe did not crash. Someone moved it here.
Your grasp of the obvious is inspiring. There's still a nuke down there. Check your corners and watch your back.
Right.
I always love it in like sci-fi stuff, especially also like sci-fi horror, but it doesn't have to be sci-fi horror, but You get these sort of like really like dark synth kind of music happening. It doesn't sound exactly like it, but I was just thinking about music in movies like The Running Man, one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie from 1987, the same year that the first Predator came out. But Harold Faltermeyer is the name of the guy who did the music for that movie, and his work is really, really cool. And he did music for Beverly Hills Cop as well. And so many other movies too. I think he also did Tango and Cash's soundtrack also. What happened to Buzzsaw? He had to split. Uplink, the underground.
That was a detonator. Someone just screwed us.
Shepard, at last.
Okay, that was unexpected, and I was in the middle of saying something. I'll finish off the Arnie quote that I was going to do from that movie. Uplink, the underground. Uplink, the underground. If you don't shut up, I'll uplink your ass, and then you'll be on the ground.
Have we met?
My name is Ilanos Halliot. I doubt you know it. Who do you think runs the Terminus clan, Shepard, huh? Thousands of pirates, slavers, criminals of every stripe?
Who cares?
You assume I give a damn. That's cute.
The strongest leads. The one who kills the most men, seizes the most ships, pillages the most colonies. 3 years ago, I was the strongest. I used my influence to assemble a fleet. We would drive your kind out of the Verge.
You organized the attack on Elysium. Too bad we kicked your ass back into Terminus, huh?
I was the motivator, the instigator, the one who promised glory and riches for sacking the largest human colony in the cluster. The one blamed when it failed. Failed! I was ruined when your kind held against the Blitz. What better way to recover my reputation than by eliminating the first human Spectre?
You'll see me again, Halliot. Count on it.
I rather doubt that. Goodbye, Shepard.
What do we do now, Shepard?
We find a way out. Someone up there needs my boot up his ass. See if there's anything in here we can use.
There's no time to get out. You have to disable the bomb before it goes off. Well, maybe we don't want to. Maybe we don't feel like it, game. Nah, just kidding. Actually, something I didn't think to look at was what I actually have in terms of upgrades as options now. Nice.
Finally, some action.
All targets down.
Form up.
What the hell is he doing?
Enemy sighted.
Shields disabled.
Holy fucking shit. Hang on. Oh no, that is on. Something that is a little bit of a nitpick is no ability to do like a side dive roll or something like that. Or maybe there is. I just don't know how to do it. Or haven't even looked to see. It might be one of those things, because I know in some games they don't point stuff out to you. They just want you to figure it out on your own. No, doesn't seem like it. Oops. That's a classic mistake I make in many games where you can throw a grenade. Accidentally pressing the button that throws it. Because you absent-mindedly forget that that's actually what you press to use it. And I must admit, my sniper rifle mustn't have as much distance as I thought it is. Unless it's one of those games where even if you aim at an enemy from a distance and it doesn't bring up their health, you may still be close enough that shooting at it will actually do damage. Like in the game's Tomb Raider Anniversary and Tomb Raider Legend, the reticule goes red when you're aiming at an enemy that you can actually shoot from a distance that will actually do damage. However, you can slightly be outside of that zone and the reticule will go grey and you'll shoot at the enemy and they'll still take damage and then die. So I don't know if it's that kind of situation with the sniper rifle. But let's try a different approach. Off-the-shelf reviews, you're accidentally throwing grenades all the time in Mass Effect 1. Like, Shepard, what are you doing? You're wasting grenades. Why just randomly throw them? It's just so funny. I know, let's defeat them with Mako. Halliat went through a lot of trouble to draw you here. A pity it ended like this. For him, at least. Now that you're above ground, your suit radio has re-established connection with the Normandy. Time to get the hell out of here. Let's get the hell out of here! As one of the skeletons in Army of Darkness says. Are all men from the future loud-mouth braggarts? Nope. Just me, baby. Just me. I made this for thee. Good. I could use a horse blanket. Ash. You're one of a kind. You know, I wonder if in the new Evil Dead movie, the actual book that they find is one of the 3 books that Ash has to determine is the real one. But if it is, that might actually cause a continuity error, because it's like, well, if he had to find the real one between the 3 and the other 2 would be fake ones, does that mean that they have no power? But as we see in the movie, though, they do actually have power and effects that happen when he chooses the wrong one. So maybe? I don't know if that's where they'll go with it, but have to wait and see. I just had this image in my mind of a Evil Dead movie that is like Back to the Future 2, how you have 2 versions of Marty McFly in the same time period, going to the same places at the same times, and having to make sure that one doesn't run into the other, but also make sure that nothing bad happens to the other Marty, because if something does happen to that Marty, then all the stuff that Marty did in the first movie will be undone. But I could just imagine a scenario where there's a different version of Ash that goes to the 1300s AD, and he sees himself taking the book, and he thinks, maybe if I take the other book and recite the words that I know now, what would happen? And of course, in true Ash fashion, he would grab that book and then he would say the right words, but ironically, saying those words with that book creates a whole different dilemma that fucks everything up. Yeah, me neither, actually. It's one of those things where I see comments online where people are like, it's not Evil Dead if it's set in the building. And obviously there's going to be comparisons to Demons 2, which is also set in a high-rise building with people becoming possessed. But regardless of whether you put it into a high-rise building or a cabin in the woods or a boat or on a plane, the fact of the matter is you're in a location where people are getting possessed, and so it becomes more like a similar setting that you'd see in like a Wild West movie, you know. And you could argue that all Wild West movies are the same, but the thing about it is there's certain things that you expect to be in that, you know. But the thing about Evil Dead is it has its own identity as well, and as long as that still comes through, and what I saw in the trailer actually seems really fitting, and you're getting not only, you know, over-the-top gore, but you're also getting a lot of the things that are core elements of Evil Dead. And maybe the movie might be different. Maybe the movie will have things in it that weren't shown in the trailer that are actually terrible. And we've seen all the good stuff in the trailer, but Hopefully not. Turian insignia recovered. This body is a long way from anything and appears to have been here for quite some time. On the body is a book of drawings, including one of the Siglar outpost insignia. Alright, that's all that done. While I think about it, before I go back to the Normandy, let's actually have a look at points for Shepard, but also for Rex and Tali as well. I was going to say Talia, but Tali. Advanced Unity. Master Unity. Assault Training. Reduces health damage by 75%. Now that is something. So we need to get Assault Training to that. Alright, I'd love to get that now, but I don't like seeing zeros in games where there's skill points. So I'd rather bank that 1 point. Okay, so Rex only has 2 points. Already got that fully done. I should get him to use warp more often. That's something that will come naturally as I get used to this game more and more. Starting to use more of the mechanics. Like making the ally characters do specific things and all that type of stuff. I might put that into that for him. And increasing Tali's armor would be good too. There we go. Alright, back to the Normandy. Oh, cool. We only have 3 of these Turian emblems left to get. Alright, let's do this mission. Geth Incursions. Okay, so Armstrong Cluster, the outposts are located in the Gagarin, Tereshkova, Hong, and Barmshi systems. Alright, Armstrong Cluster. Alright, so I've actually read about all these planets. Let's do them. Left to right. I'm gonna take a detour. Just noticed on the mini-map that there's some minerals. Rare element. You have successfully surveyed a large deposit of thorium. I was hoping for some lokium, but I guess thorium will do. Oh, that looks so cool. Skyrimming up the mountain, except in the Mako.
Now it gets fun. Dead and done, just the way I like 'em.
Dead and done, just the... Dead and done, just the way I like them. Reminds me of, Sonya Blade in the first Mortal Kombat movie from '95. How she's like... I don't know if she says the exact same thing now, but she says dumb and ugly. After a fight scene. I haven't seen that movie for quite a few years now, so my memory's a little bit hazy on the very specifics of it. I think she says it but the other way around, that's right. Just the way I like them. Dumb and ugly. Or maybe she says down and ugly, I don't know. Anyway, same energy that Rex used when he said that. When he said what he said. Hey there, Chronically Clementine. Absolutely, more Mass Effect. Ah, nice. Just the way I like 'em, dumb and ugly. There we go. I actually did get it right in one of those attempts at what she said in that movie. Thank you so much for fishing out the quote. Well, I think I've got everything in this location. Nice memory, Rod. Totally had to Google it. Oh, thank you, dude. It's one of those things where sometimes I get a movie quote right, but I second guess myself and think I got it wrong, and so I doubt what I said, and then it makes me go, oh shit, am I actually getting the quote right? But that's good to know that my memory is still somewhat working. Maybe it seeped into my subconscious because I was absolutely crazy for that movie when it came out. Only saw it at the cinema once, but I can tell you what, it was a long wait for me for it to come out on VHS, but you can bet your ass that I wore out that VHS copy when it came out on that format. Exit the building. There we go. So that's that area completed.
I smell trouble.
Not.
Shields down.
Three more of these outposts left to clear out? This should be fun.
There we go. Now that's done. But I haven't gone over this way yet. So I want to go over this way first before I leave this planet. Same was great film for game fans at the time. Held up for a long time as best video game adaptation. It really did, and even though it didn't have the same level of violent, gruesome fatalities, it really was, you know, faithful to like the source material, you know, and even when they do changes to characters like Raiden, if you read the ending that Raiden gets in the very original Mortal Kombat, there is a bit of the smart-ass aspect to him in it, because essentially after he wins the tournament he gets so bored that he ends up, I can't remember the full thing, but needless to say he ends up getting bored because he feels like there's no one else better than him and that kind of stuff. The fate of billions would... I used to be able to do an impression, a semi-good impression of his voice when I was younger, but as I've gotten older I sort of lost it. But the fate of billions will depend upon you. Sorry. Chronically, ooh, are you a refined saver, single saves only? Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there probably has been some occasions where it has bitten me in the ass because I've accidentally saved when I shouldn't have saved, and the progression that I've made is to put the character in a very sticky situation. But overall, I like to do it. It sort of keeps it consistent for me, and that way I can keep track of things better. It's the same with Red Dead 2. When I start a new playthrough of that game, I always make sure it's on a separate save file. But also because I want to be able to keep track of what playthroughs I did and what year it was. And you successfully surveyed a small deposit of polonium. Marcolium. Polium. Yeah, the sorry part is just so damn funny. I love when he's watching the fight between Johnny Cage and Goro, when Johnny Cage does the split ball punch, and then he hits that other dude next to him because he's so excited. And then he's like, sorry. I love how Liu Kang's like, he's like at the start, so you're going to win the tournament. And he goes, yes I am. And he's like, show me how. And then Raiden kicks his butt. This down pod contained a League of One medallion. Its owner is nowhere to be found. And then Liu's talking to his grandfather, and it's like, you know, grandfather, get up. This isn't your god of thunder and lightning. He's just a beggar. And then when he does that thing, he's like, I can't remember now. I think something like so much for a simple beggar or something like that. Code the New Age caravan van, now with guns and jump jets. Exactly, now we just need to have ludicrous speed as an option, and we'll be all set. And we'll fast forward into the game Mass Effect 4, The Search for More Money. I suppose I didn't really need to do that. Because we need to stay on this system here. That's right, pressure's not part of the one. Hang on. Oh yeah, the rod. Need to get off this one and then go to this one. There we go. Tereshkova is another one. It's not that planet. Anti-bar. You know, this game has made me want to play Star Fox 64 again, or Lilac Wars as it's known in some places. It's like, why was it called Lilac Wars? It's like, oh, because there's a system called the Lilac system, and so when they released it, they were like, not every single country on the planet will know what Star Fox 64 is, even though here in Australia the first game I think was called Star Fox. Or maybe it was called Star Wing. Yeah, it was called Star Wing, that's right, on the Super Nintendo. If there was ever a Nintendo IP that could also make a cool animated movie, I think Star Fox could as well. Because in many ways, it's very much Nintendo's version of Star Wars, when you think about it. As long as Chris Pratt doesn't voice anyone, I'd be happy. Okay, so let's survey this Freddie Mercury deposit. Heavy metal, deposit of mercury. Building up that money for Shepard, and she now has 155,985 credits. Nice. I'm really impressed by the differences in the planets that you go to. It's quite cool. I hope that in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, sequel to Fallen Order, I hope they've added more planets to actually visit. Because that's something that I wish they did in the first game. I mean, it doesn't make the game terrible, of course, but I mean to say, I would have liked to have at least another planet or two to actually explore. So hopefully in the sequel they've added more than just the same amount that they had in the first game. Because personally I wouldn't mind if there was even just a planet where all that was on it was side quests, you know, or have a side story that's going on. So that way, if you're interested in the side story, then there's more to it than just one quest. But if you don't, at least you never ever have to do any of them. There we go, done. I've definitely improved since the first time I took on a Thresher Maul. The vehicle and the human corpses show the telltale signs of Geth weapons fire. The Geth have been mangled by the Thresher Maul. At least they got what was coming to them. Take the waffle. Thank you so very much for the 35 months in a row. That's amazing, dude. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. I hope things are going good. What in the movie Tremors is this? Absolutely, that was my first thought too. When I first came across the Thresher Maul, I was like, Graboid. Such a great movie, that first one. The only ones I haven't seen is 5 and 6, and I think they did 7 as well. But I've seen the first 4, and I'd have to say that for me, the first one is still the best of them all. But the second one is still my favorite sequel out of the ones that I've seen. Even though 4 is a prequel. But, yeah. That first movie, it was so funny because when I was a kid, I didn't like movies that were set on farms or, you know, were westerns and stuff. So when I was actually watching television with my parents one night and Kevin Bacon, who at that time, at that age, I had no idea who that actor was. But I was like, this movie is about these guys working on like a property or whatnot. I'm like, pfft. But I'm glad I stuck around because something started to happen in the movie, which is a great sort of thing where it really draws you in because it's like, what the hell is this stuff that's happening under the ground? But then I was hooked and I kept on watching the rest of it, and I've been a fan of it ever since. So I'm glad I actually stayed in the room and watched the movie with my parents instead of going back to my own room and playing video games or something, because I would have missed out on watching Tremors for the first time. Thanks for the GGs off the shelf. I really do appreciate it. You love them all except 4. Yeah, 4 was kind of like, I mean, it seemed like something that you'd do in like an episode of the Tremors series where it's just like a one-off kind of thing. Not really something you'd do for a whole movie. And Burt Gummer is definitely a legend. He's so cool. Michael Gross is actually really cool too, as well. I like how he's embraced that character. And it blew my mind the first time I found out that he was the same actor who plays the father on the Family Ties show, which I didn't make the connection when I was younger, of course. Even though I was at the age where that show was being aired on television, and I did see some of it, but not enough for me to fully register how the father character looked in that show. Enough for me to recognize him when I saw him in Tremors. Take the waffle. You saw the first one when you were really young. Legit scared you for a few days, laughed my ass off. Great movie, especially for the time. It really is, waffle, you know, and sometimes it's one of those things where it just becomes so memorable. Certain things just seem to fall in place sometimes when you watch something for the first time, and it creates a really memorable experience. I hope all is well. You're now home for the next 5 days. COVID has arrived. Oh, sorry to hear that, dude. That really sucks. You know, I hope you get some really good rest, that you're able to rest up, and also that the recovery is very quick as well, Waffle. That really sucks. Things are going good on my end. Having a good week so far. And this game, I was a bit frustrated with the game earlier in my other stream I did, earlier my time today. But, you know, it was just like little niggling things that were just annoying. You'll be alright. Just sucks since you recovered from the flu 2 weeks ago. Oh, bloody hell. Talk about going from the frying pan into the fire. It's just ridiculous when that happens, because you think, oh yeah, I'm over that now, and then Murphy's Law is just like, ha ha ha. It's not over yet. Here, have this. And then you're like, oh great. Cool, a Prothean ruin. Waffle, the flu almost killed you. COVID's a cold compared to what you dealt with. Ooh. I'm so glad, dude, that you're able to recover from that, you know. It's just, you know, there's also a level of annoyance that just comes on top of the actual feeling sick too. Prothean disc. Discover a Prothean disc. Must have been dropped by one of the Thresher Maaw's many victims. Alright, so that's that sorted out. Now, if we look at the map, next stop, this debris, and then the Geth facility. I just thought of something. Detroit become Geth. What a crossover that would be between Detroit become human and Mass Effect. Waffle, I shit you not, after you got back from the doctors getting tested for the flu, you blacked out in your truck for an hour? Thank everything that's holy it happened as you pulled into your gravel pad for parking at the house. Holy shit, dude, that is so lucky. It's just one of those things where, like, if something slightly was different, it could have made, you know, so much of a big difference, you know. So I'm so glad that it worked out that way, but that would be scary as well. Just blacking out, and, you know, obviously when that happens, you've got no control over when it happens, what you're doing when it happens, you know, and there's just so many things that could have actually gone wrong. So I'm glad that they didn't, dude. Holy fucking shit. Because you hear horror stories, you know, like people blacking out when they're driving, you know, full speed. And unfortunately have, you know, a fatal accident and stuff. It's just... Waffle, like your mother works from home and currently where you reside and you have security cameras. She noticed you pulled in but never came in. She ended up snapping you back into it. That's great as well. You know, because you just don't know. Like, you could have blacked out, and if your mother wasn't there and there wasn't the security either, who knows what might have happened, you know? Who knows what caused the blackout, you know? Who knows what side effects could have happened, you know? So it's great that she was there and that you had that security set up. Hey Sprocket, welcome to the stream. I hope you're going good. Signal jammed, eh? Alright, so let's see if I can... Alright. Good. Go in this direction. Waffle, like she came outside, opened your truck door, that's when you snapped too. So yeah, the flu, terrible. COVID, you say a little worse than a common cold, at least thus far. Well, hopefully it doesn't go any further, and that it just basically, the recovery process kicks in full speed, and you have like a full and quick recovery as well. But yeah, that's so awesome that your mother was there to make sure that when you blacked out and she noticed that you hadn't come in, that you needed some kind of help, and was able to get that, because you just never ever know. die here. I'm stuck. Alright, let's get behind something.
Bring it on.
Patching you up.
That's number 2. Let's hit the next base.
Achievement unlocked. Recruit. Kill 250. Fucking hell. Kill 250 enemies in Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3. Oops, sorry, Tali. For a moment there, I thought that was an enemy.
Perimeter secured.
Alright, that's that sorted. I was lucky there at a few moments. I was underestimating what type of enemy would come out of the dropship, and was very lucky I got into the vehicle. However, sometimes I've noticed that if you wait long enough, the vehicle will get to a state where it's not fully, you know, back to full health, so to speak, but I was very lucky that got out of there as well, or got out of that situation. Alright, so I think that covers that here on this planet. So we'll just go in here and then go back to the Normandy. Sprocket, doing pretty well. That's awesome to hear, Sprocket. I'm really glad to hear that. It's always good. Waffle, your boss wanted you to go to work the day you blacked out. Really? Oh no. Yeah, Sprocket, that's just the Renegade Shepherd way. So it is. Every shepherd for themselves. And there's only one shepherd. Alright, up next is home. Waffle Willie asked for that happened, and you told him, let me get checked first. Once you came back to, you called him and said, lol, nah. Yeah, I don't blame you, and it's good that your boss is also understanding as well, and the last thing you want to do is find out that your employee has had a blackout and asking them to come in to actually work, and if you go in, you know, who knows what, you know, might happen. You might black out again, you know, so it's definitely good to have an employer that is very understanding like that. Waffle, it sucks. You're super short-staffed and you're desperately needed. You work 70 hours a week typically. You do the longest route that you have. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, that's the balance. And that's the upside and the downside. The upside is that having a boss that understands is great because it means they're not going to punish you for not being able to come in. But then, at the same time, you feel like you need to go in because the circumstances are that, you know, like you say, short-staffed. Geth Outpost. Definitely do that first, but then I'll go and search the other spot. So I hadn't actually come down onto this planet yet, I don't think, for anything, so it's cool to actually see what it looks like for the first time. Boom, boom. Waffle, plus you enjoy work, it's fun to you, you like every part of what you do, and that's really cool too, because there's so many jobs that you do that you think, ugh. But then you get that job where you're like really enjoying it and you like going there and makes you look forward to the day as opposed to dreading it. Because if you're working in a place where it's dreadful, it's kind of like, oh great, here we go again. Got to put up with Jimmy, Django, Johnny, and Billy, Bimmy, Bango today at work. Just to create some nonsense names there to use as examples. Well, you typically spend 99% of your day alone. You drive a box truck and deliver tires, so mostly driving and only working for a little. Radio talk shows are what keep you occupied, and also classic rock. That's it, you know, and there'd be some days where it would really feel like such a good thing to be able to do without having to worry about, you know, traveling with a group of people or that you don't know even, you know, like on a bus or something. Harmonger, I think you're overestimating the Mako's capabilities. Well, it's actually been not too bad, to be honest. Like, I haven't really encountered a slope to go up that is impossible. I've always managed to find another route up that isn't too bad. It's actually easier in this to actually get up the side of something very slant than it is in Skyrim. Before you tell people, I literally get paid to look at the most peaceful views, meaning the areas you're in are the mountains, and it's stunning. You can see for literal miles at the peak of one of the hills. And if you get time, I imagine it'd be cool to just like stop and just basically park and then you know, grab something to eat and just, you know, take it all in as well. Rare element, large deposit of uranium. You do? Waffle, that's awesome. That's great to be able to take the time. about 22 the 3-hour mark for the stream. I'm not going to do a really long stream session for this. I already did a stream session earlier my time, so there's that. But I won't be doing in total a 12-hour stream. Well, I did 11 hours with this yesterday, I think. But I want to get this side quest done that I've been working on. So I won't end the stream until I get that done. Because when it hits Wednesday for me anyway, there'll be another stream of this, which will most likely be a longer one. Might have found a mountain that's a bit difficult to go up. Although, if I keep doing this, there we go. Waffle, your one friend asked why you don't take pictures, and you're a firm believer of some things aren't meant for photos. These are your hidden spots. Nobody needs to know where. It's like if you find a good fishing spot, you don't want to tell people, because otherwise you'll get like 10 people going to the same fishing spot, and then you won't be able to get the same amount of fish that you would normally get, if at all, because there's so many people fishing in the same spot. Yeah, chronically, that's the mission that I'm doing, the one where you have all these different Geth outposts and facilities to go to. Rare element, deposit of samarium. I'm not going to bother reading out every single word, because a lot of those ones, the keywords are different, but the other words are the same. And coming up this Thursday, I'll be doing another stream of Red Dead Redemption 2. I actually was doing the current playthrough as an annual one, because every year I like to do an annual playthrough of Red Dead Redemption 2. But because of how time consuming the type of playthrough is that I am doing, I realized that if I do it as an annual playthrough, it means I need to get it done before the year ends, and there ain't no way I'm getting it done before the year ends. Because what I'm actually doing in this playthrough, and I've renamed it now, but I will actually at some point be doing my actual annual playthrough, where I'll put this current one on hold and then start a new game and then do the annual playthrough. But in any case, what I'm doing in that game is every single part of the story where your gang sets up a camp, with every single character that is in that camp, every single different configuration, and every single different variation based on multiple factors, some factors being what mission you might have just done, other factors being what sort of like stranger mission you're working on. You know, maybe there's going to be a difference and all that type of stuff. And what I'm doing is actually getting as much dialogue in those camps as possible. And it doesn't just mean when I get to a new gang camp in the game, speak to every character and then continue on with the story. No. I'm actually going to be getting all the dialogue for 24 in-game hour cycles with every character, and the configuration of that's going to change and all that type of stuff. So I don't even know how many times the same events within a 24 in-game hour period will actually repeat every 24 hours. So who knows, but that's the type of playthrough I'm doing with Red Dead 2, and there's no way I could do all that and do the story before the year ended. So that's why I've changed the name of it, so it's not an annual playthrough anymore. It's just a camp dialogue focus playthrough, which is what it always was, but
That's the last of them.
I'm dropping the annual from it. So I still have a lot of work to do, but I have in mind a certain point that I'm going to put on hold the current dialogue focus playthrough, so I can start a new game and then do my annual playthrough and get the game done in that playthrough before the year ends, and then I'll just jump back to the other one. And I'm willing to have this playthrough of getting all that dialogue bleeding over into next year if it needs to be that long. ID tag recovered. Buried under the beacon was an identification tag for Captain Thane. There's no indication of why it was hidden here or who buried it in the first place. Looks like a giant USB stick that's someone put into the ground. That's it. Absolutely off the shelf. Red Dead Redemption 2. That game has so much to offer, like holy shit. Oh, and something else I forgot to mention about the playthrough I'm doing is I'm also doing 2 different passes through the game as well, because you can have low honor dialogue and high honor dialogue. You can probably even have neutral dialogue that's different as well. But I'm only focused on the camps, so when it comes to characters in the game world, I don't have to get all the dialogue from them. And so what that means is I have to actually antagonize every character, even characters that I have never ever, since 2018 when I started playing the games every year, at least once a year, did I ever antagonize, including them. And the characters that I have so far antagonized is Dutch, which I didn't mind, because it's okay to rib Dutch. But I also did it to Sadie, as well as Lenny, and even Jack, who's only like 6 or 7 years old in the game. And it's one of those things where the character at some point says, "I hate you, Uncle Arthur." And I was just like, no, this is not how Arthur is supposed to behave. He's not supposed to pick on Jack. But to get the dialogue, I've got to pick on the characters that I would never normally pick on. But I've only done the in-game cycle for that first day from 9 AM to 6 PM. I still need to do the other in-game times with those characters that I've already done the 9 to 6 with, but also every single other character that I have yet to do the 9 to 6 time slot with. I have to also do the other time slots, and what I'm going to do to help keep track is I'm going to make up what day of the week each day is, because the game doesn't actually tell you which day of the week it is. So I'm just going to be like, right, this first day that I've been working on, I'm just going to call it Monday, and then keep track of it like that. Oh yeah, off the shelf. I was like, oh yeah, I should be able to finish that before the year ends, and I got to the point where I'm like, oh no, this is going to be like a 12-month or more stream. But the thing about doing more days, where it's just one game until completion, it means that those days, which at the moment is Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, if I need to, I can also add extra days for the Red Dead playthrough during the week if I wanted to, you know. So who knows, if the playthrough keeps on going until next year, maybe I might make Monday through to Thursday Red Dead 2. Just have to wait and see. Yeah, or more. But get this too, I was also expecting to do my Red Dead Redemption 1 annual playthrough after finishing the Red Dead 2 playthrough. because I like to play those games in chronological order, ever since I first tried it that way. And so that's what I'll be doing. Once I start a new game to make that my annual 2023 for Red Dead 2, I'll be finding another day during the week to add Red Dead 1 to the schedule, and then do my annual for that. Off the shelf, it was great to watch you playing RDR2 that way. You heard so many new interactions, man. Well, that's cool that you did, because that's the other highlight as well. And the other beautiful thing is you get to see interactions and hear it with characters that you may never have, because you're normally off during a mission, and if you do come back to camp, you might not stay long enough to get them. So there's just so many interactions that are missable. Like that interaction with Sadie and Kieran, where Sadie gets a bowl of food and goes over to Kieran, who's tied up to the pole, and because he was part of the O'Driscoll gang and she lost her husband to the O'Driscoll gang, she teases and taunts him with the food and talks to him, and then she pours the food on the ground in front of him and then walks off. You know, I'd never seen that until this playthrough, because normally I'm already off doing other missions in the story. Let's save, because I think, unless there might be more on this planet than just that. Actually no, after this location that's everything done that I want to do on Casbin. Damn it, why did I go to the left? Jesus Christ. Walked fucking straight into it. It's like playing dodgeball and running straight into the ball even though it wasn't going to hit you. Off the shelf, Sadie was great, but yeah, Kieran gets tormented by nearly everyone in the camp in between missions. He really does, you know, he gets the rough end of the stick, and the only interaction I've seen where he actually gets a positive interaction is with Mary Beth. She actually gets him some food and lets him have something to eat, which I thought was kind of sweet, because obviously, you know, if you played the game before, you know that Kieran isn't really a true believer, so to speak, of the Colm O'Driscoll game, you know. A bit of a doll. Yeah, Mary Beth is such a great character. There's so many great performances as well. It's just amazing the work that was done. Well and truly bringing the characters to life so well. Do you know what the Ark is? It's a transmitter. The Geth array is transmitting regular data bursts on an encrypted channel using the Alliance's own faster-than-light comm buoys. It's not clear where the data is being directed, nor the content of the signal. Some great stranger characters too that you come across in Red Dead 2. I must say, as much as they're awesome, there's just a different feel to the ones in Red Dead 1. I can't really quite put my finger on it. But what's also cool in that game, as well as Red Dead 1, is in Red Dead 1, there's only 3 stranger missions from the one person that can't be done as Jack in the epilogue, and that's the one with the strange man. Only John Marston can do those ones. However, every single other one in the entire game apart from that can be done by Jack in the epilogue. So I did a playthrough once where I did that, and it was quite interesting. Sometimes not much changes with the dialogue, but sometimes different dialogue happens. But the funny thing is, a character like Jenny that you find who believes that God is just going to save her from just being an idiot and staying out in the desert without food or water, you know, you can actually do that stranger mission as Jack in 1914, which is, you know, 3 years after John Marston was on the train with her, and she hasn't aged a day. You know, but it was interesting doing that. And then Red Dead 2, there's certain stranger missions that, you know, you can leave to do as Arthur, you can do as Arthur, or you can leave for John Marston. And also there's some where you can do some of it as Arthur and then resume the rest of it as John, and then there's, you know, different interactions and stuff again. So, you know, there's just so many differences between the two characters when interacting as well. Okay, so that is that. But there's still more to do with this quest. Okay, so we just need to go to Virmire now. Harbinger, Omnigel, everything. Yeah, I'm sort of sitting on this stuff because I don't yet know exactly what I'd like to do with it. But I do know that Shepard now has 192,531 credits, so that's good. Building all that up. Virmire. Old grey Virmire ain't what she used to be. Harbinger, you're forcing you to play Mass Effect, but you have only the original version. Mass Effect 1 hasn't aged very well. Please don't make you play Mass Effect Andromeda. No, Harbinger, you must play that. You cannot eat, drink, sleep, or do anything else but play Andromeda. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until you finish it. Which, ironically, if you did play it 24 hours a day, you'd probably finish it before the week was out. So maybe that wouldn't be such a bad, sort of like punishment. Chronically, it's OGME1 is clunky, is it? Yeah, that's the thing too, like games back in 2007 and that era between the middle of the 2000s and the end, you know, there's definitely something about that era that, you know, it can be hard for people as well to play those games now. considering how much time has passed. That's why it kind of makes it difficult for me, for example, to recommend which Assassin's Creed game for people to say. From the perspective of the story and everything like that, I would definitely say the first game's the best one to start with, because it's going to really let you know about the Assassins versus the Templars and that kind of stuff. However, the gameplay isn't 100% future-proofed, I'll put it that way, to the point where, you know, you can come back, like, people can play the game for the first time 15, 20 years later, and there'll still be gameplay that is very, like, intuitive and all that type of stuff. But I find it hard to recommend which game to start with from the perspective of which is going to be the better gameplay experience as well as a good story as well. Because there's so many different games in the series, and there's so many different genre or styles that they go through as time has gone on. Thorium deposit. Let's use Mjolnir to crack this open. Rare element, large deposit of thorium. I do chronically... Oh, sorry, you're talking to Harbinger. Yeah, this is actually how I'm playing it too, through Game Pass. Hey, Lucinda, good morning to you. Welcome. I hope things are going good. Chronically, trying to make KOTOR playable on the PC as you really want to revisit since the remake got shelved 20 years since release this year. Never actually played it myself, but definitely have heard a lot about it over that time, and that's great that it's that milestone as well. The original Resident Evil 2 actually celebrates its 25th anniversary this year, and I completely forgot because in 2021, I think it was, Resident Evil 1
You need
was
to turn
celebrating
back,
it.
Commander. You're going beyond the range of the operational area.
And it was just out of my mind that RE2 original was getting close to its 25th anniversary as well. But yeah, it's crazy how much stuff has changed between then and now. Games have had such an evolution. Whether it's a good or bad evolution, also obviously depends on individuals, but it's undeniable that there's definitely been an evolution, at least in the sense of, you know, graphics and some gameplay stuff, although there's still some games that come out today that have shit gameplay, obviously. Ancient debris. That's for me. Let us see. Oops. Let's try again. Chronically, the rebalancing for Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect and Legendary Edition 1 is worth it. You love KOTOR, that got you into these games and RPGs like it. That's awesome as well, chronically, because they're always things that you remember and have good memories about too, as well. Walkman games are made for the times, and they have only gotten better and better. The Xbox 360 and PS3 were great systems in 2007, but in 2023 they don't compare to the PS5 or Series X and S systems. Well, that's true as well, Walkman, for sure. And welcome, by the way, dude. I hope things are going well. But yeah, that's true. You don't pay for Game Pass, and in the US, gold members can buy Mass Effect Legendary for $14.99, which is what you did. That's understandable, Walkerman, yeah. Hey there, Fuller, welcome. When you hear people talking about clunky old games and smile, knowing that in 20 years' time you'll be smiling at the kids saying how clunky Valhalla and Elden Ring are. Yeah, that actually does happen a lot. Shit, I didn't actually read what that said. Fucking hell. Let's go into clip making mode. Let's see if I can grab it. Okay, so the message said, Turian insignia recovered. Strange-looking sensor has some ancient graffiti scribbled on it. It appears to be marked with the Edessan colony insignia. There we go, that's what it said. But yeah, that's true. Like anything from one generation to the next, there's stuff that one generation thinks sucks, but then the things that they think is great, the next generation after them is going to say it sucks. And then that generation is going to have people under them that says that what they thought was great actually sucks. And on and on and on until maybe if humans live until the year 5000, it'll probably still be the same thing. Oh man, I can't believe that those people back in the year 3000 were so interested in that. It really sucks. In fact, if we actually live until the year 5000, I think that would be some kind of really, really amazing effort. Odd skull. This massive skull is scored by deflected mass accelerator shots. The xenobiology files in your hardsuit computer can't identify the species. It must have been brought here from an unknown world. Ooh, unknown world. Oh no, I'm so scared. Anyway, let's get into the vehicle and go to the map, and let's go upper this away. Listen to unknown world. It's so scary to think. You never know, it might be a world where money grows on trees forever, and all the food that you could eat never runs out ever. But I doubt such a world exists. Only in fantasy. Here we have this crashed probe. Okay, that's where we need to go now. I think, I don't know if it will make it quicker to just do this. I don't know if it puts us closer to where I need to go than where I currently was. I mean. And no, it only put me to the left of where I was and slightly up from there too. Oh well, it was worth a shot. As Jack Burton says in Big Trouble in Little China, hey, you never know until you try. Walkman, personally think the paper money will be completely eliminated in the US eventually. Won't happen in your lifetime, but you think it will happen? Oh yeah, undoubtedly. Eventually it will be phased out completely. That's for sure. I'm kind of getting flashbacks to playing Mad Max and the driving and the driving combat or the vehicle combat mechanics as well. We have a AI companion who is on the back of your vehicle all the time named Chum. And he can do things like shoot a harpoon on something and pull it down, for example. Or you as Mad Max can get up with your sniper rifle and take out things from a distance.
I thought one of these outposts would be a major base of operations.
Hold on. This receiver's picking up some kind of transmission. Based on the signal strength, I'd say it's coming from inside this star cluster.
The main Geth base. Use the signal to lock onto its location and go take it out.
Roger, roger. Follow with no physical money. The establishment owns your ass. If you don't obey, your finances can be turned off for the greater good. Yeah, I mean, you know, having it tied up in just, like, your bank account without the ability to withdraw it into, like, a physical form or whatnot. You know, and the way to pay for things and stuff like that. Oh, thank you so much, Shadow Healer, for leaving the lurk. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the kind words too. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate that too. That looks really cool. Ah, thank you so much for spotting that, Lucinda. I changed the message that happened for something, but lurking is something that I didn't realize I had forgotten to actually change. Thanks for pointing that out. I'll make a note of that. Cheers, Lucinda. Fuller, there's a useful game mechanic you don't seem to be using. Not sure if telling you what it is counts as backseating. Is it the use of like the squad, like telling them where to go, and also like going in and using like these different things here? Because I'm just starting to incorporate that into what I'm actually doing. So what is the game mechanic, Fuller, that I'm not using? Oh, the jump. Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I actually know that you can use it, and I have been using it sometimes, but haven't actually been using it every single time, though. Alright, so let us go to the vehicle, jump in, go back to the Normandy. Alright, so Armstrong Nebula, the Grissom system. Fuller, my bad then, usually listening rather than watching, but when you had watched, I hadn't seen you jump at all. Oh yeah, that's okay, Fuller. But yeah, sometimes in games, I get used to playing it a certain way, and sometimes I do stuff that I feel is something that I prefer to do, even though there might be something else that can be done also. Grissom. Okay, so these are planets that I haven't actually seen before or read about before. Bender. Bender has a dense atmosphere of sulfur dioxide and chlorine. Though technically classified as a terrestrial world, but the surface of the planet has never cooled enough for a crust to form. It is a global sea of molten rock. Like Zeherox, its atmosphere is being blasted away by the solar wind. Once its thick atmosphere is gone, Bender's surface will be a mere 400 degrees Celsius. Oh yeah, that's just a mere temperature, you know. Scans of Bender uncovered an ancient Solarian vessel. A small team was dispatched to search for valuables. Only item of value recovered was a League of One medallion. That is all good, because we need those two for side quests. Zeherox. Zeherox's nitrogen-argon atmosphere is being blasted away by the solar wind of the blue giant Grissom. Its surface consists of seas of loose silica dust, some kilometers deep, which periodically swirl into global sandstorms. Many unmanned probes to Zaherox have been lost over the years. Though investigation has attributed all to mechanical failure or computational error, a popular extranet meme insists that the entire planet is composed of dormant nanotechnology, created millennia ago by a race even more advanced than the Protheans. According to the story, Zaherox's silica dust is actually disassembler robots, which periodically awaken to defend themselves. Though discovered by every reputable scientist, this theory has been popularized by a series of sensationalistic texts by Asari author Delsey Orthisa. Light metal surveyed. Scanning the planet, detected large deposit of beryllium on a small nearby moon. That's no moon. Hang on, what was that? Uh-huh. Notanban is a hydrogen-helium gas giant with traces of ammonia. Molecular nitrogen is present in the highest levels of the atmosphere, giving the planet its odd violet tint. The upper levels of Notanban's atmosphere are inhabited by shoals of tiny ammonia-based life forms, no larger or more complex than the plankton of Earth's oceans. Held aloft by air pressure and wind, these bioluminescent creatures constantly flee from the approach of the Terminator. Should they be exposed to the light and heat of Grissom, they die, and therefore terminated. Solcrum. That's okay, Fuller. That's no worries. Thank you so much for being here and for lurking and also for chatting as well. I hope you have a really good one, and thank you. I definitely will have fun. This game, despite having a frustrating stream of it earlier due to me just being in a mood, it's still a great game and I'm still enjoying it a lot. Warning, level 1 heat hazard. Solcrum is the largest moon of the gas giant Notanban. It has a trace atmosphere of krypton and xenon. The crust is composed of various metals with deposits of sodium. As with every body in the solar system, the surface is scorching hot and thoroughly irradiated by the blue giant Grissom. Surface excursions without proper protective gear are certain to prove fatal. On approach to Notanban, Normandy's passive sensor array intercepted a fragmentary coded transmission from the surface of Solcrum. Attempts to decrypt the message were fruitless. It does not appear to be in any software coding language used by the Citadel races. That's where we need to go. Alrighty then, we'll go this way first. Oh, that looks really fucking cool. I was saying before, but the actual way to control this thing is like, if I have the turret and the vehicle facing this way, if I go up on the control stick, naturally it goes up and back it goes down. But if you put the turret on the side like this, going forward becomes the left control stick if the nose of the vehicle is facing to the left, and then right is reverse. And if you want to go forward, then you press up and then it'll spin around like that. And when I'm doing fights with enemies, I tend to do this sort of tactic around like that. And it's very difficult because I have to keep in mind to not press up on the control stick unless I really need to actually change direction quickly. But also, at the same time, change the camera as quick as I'm changing the left control stick going up to ensure that the vehicle does go up, otherwise it will just stagnate. So it took a bit to get used to. I'm not 100% used to it yet though, but I do better in fights with the Mauler. Is it? I was saying their fucking name earlier, now I forget the damn thing. Pressure Mauler, or whatever it's called. Pressure thingamajig. Giant worm, monster, sand, creature thing. There we go. The giant worm, monster, creature things. I've gotten better at killing them. After the 120% completion in Arkham Knight, you can say that this is a piece of cake. Yeah. But Harbinger, here's the question. Have you done Arkham Knight yet on New Game Plus to get 120% again on top to make it 240%? Now that is definitely something that is very time consuming. Matriarch's writings recovered. Several artifacts stored here, all worthless except for one of Matriarch Dilanaga's writings. Whether it was uncovered at this dig site or elsewhere is unclear. Go home, Mako. You're drunk. There we go. So that's what happens if you press the jump boost when the vehicle is actually on an angle. That's that gotten. Right, now for this objective. As the last Geth falls, you hear music from across the room. On the monitor, a Quarian stands before a hushed crowd, warbling a mournful a cappella of worlds and innocence lost. The recorded song is dispatched to the Geth worlds beyond the Perseus Veil. The transmitter shuts down.
Let's get moving.
It's interesting in this game that they do that. They have parts where it describes what actually ends up happening, like you're playing, like, you know, a traditional role-playing game, or D&D or something like that. Not that I actually have played that game myself, but like a game where it's like, this is the situation. You walk down this hall, and then you hear a noise. You turn around behind you. What do you do next? You know, that kind of thing. Except in this context, it's like telling you what the next event actually is, or what the repercussions are of what you've done, or what ends up happening later. Oops. Pressed X and A at the same time with my thumb. You discover a number of encrypted Geth data files. In the proper hands, they could reveal much about the evolution of the Geth since the banishment of the Quarians. Tali and the Geth. You've acquired detailed data files from the Geth outpost. Given the history of the Quarians, these might be of interest to Tali. Speak to Tali once you're back on the Normandy. Cool, and that's a side mission. Excellent. Oh, nice. We found a Thunder 5 rifle. I like how you can actually see the stamina bar when you have your weapon up, but unfortunately you can't see it when you have your weapon down, which I think would have been good. But anyway, that's just a little nitpick thing. Doesn't ruin the overall game or anything like that. Return back to the Normandy. So what I want to do is, before I actually speak to Tali, I want to make a save just in case this kick starts off a whole other set of side missions, because I'd rather wait until next stream to actually kick that off.
Shepard, I need to talk to you. It's important.
Make it quick.
You know the data you took from those Geth control nodes? The information you uploaded to Alliance Control? I want a copy of it.
You want to bring this data back to the migrant fleet?
Those files have information that could be vital to our efforts to understand the Geth. It could be the key to helping us reclaim our homeworld.
Sorry, but a Renegade Shepherd would be like, sorry Tali, I don't give a shit. Can't take that risk.
Until our cryptologists decipher that data, it stays with the Alliance. After that, you can make an official appeal for access to the files.
Right. I'm sure the Alliance will have no problem turning it over to my people. Governments are always eager to work with the migrant fleet. You're looking out for your own people. I understand that. I just wish it wasn't at my people's expense.
Well, Renegade Shepherd, like Bully Maguire, is just like, I missed the part where that's my problem.
Is this gonna cause trouble later on?
Don't worry. I'll still do everything I can to help you stop Saren. But as soon as this mission's over, I must resume my pilgrimage.
Fair enough. Hey Mauler, good morning to you, dude. So this is actually where I'm going to call it a stream. Just wanted to see if that conversation with Tali was just a epilogue type thing to that side mission set that we just did, or if it was like kickstarting off another set of side stuff. So I'll just put Commander Shepard back here, do that there, and then go to the main menu. But there will be more Mass Effect this week, because I will also be doing a Wednesday stream of this game too. So if you see me streaming this game again, you know it's become Wednesday for me in Australia. I want to thank everyone so much for watching the stream. I really appreciate it. We're going to go and raid out before I finish the stream, but I also want to give some shout outs as well before we wrap up and kick off the raid. Off the shelf, that is absolutely no worries at all. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all the lurking that you do too. I really appreciate the lurking and people who lurk as well. So thank you so much for that, off the shelf. Listen, that's how you are with KCD. There are times where talking to an NPC as a follow-up will suddenly teleport you to a mission location, and then the game is like, right, you can't get out of this now, and we won't let you actually reload your last save. You have to actually continue on from this point until you get it done, and you're like, damn it. I want to highly recommend people check out Lucinda, as well as Off the Shelf, Dr. Ronnie, and Mauler as well. So Lucinda is playing through Kingdom Come Deliverance, and she's a big fan of the Resident Evil series as well. And when the Resident Evil 4 remake comes out, she's going to be incorporating that into her Resident Evil marathon for this year, and is also a fan of games like the Dishonored series, and is a Stream Raider captain as well. And a great streamer, has a great community, and if you're looking for a streamer that goes into a great detail about things in the game that they're playing, then Lucinda's also a great streamer for that content as well. So I highly recommend. Off the Shelf is playing some Evil West. They also did a little bit of High on Life as well, and some of the games that they most recently went through was Observer, and also the DLC for Resident Evil Village. I think it's called Shadow of Rose, the name of that. But yeah, highly recommend. And Gary and Ian, who are comprising of Off the Shelf reviews, also have a YouTube channel as well that they actually do a lot of movie reviews for. In fact, they've actually been doing it for quite a number of years now. In fact, I do believe it's if it at least hasn't been 10 years, it's almost been more than that. So I'll actually get a link to their YouTube as well, put that in chat. There we go. So that's the link to Off the Shelf reviews on YouTube. Also want to highly recommend people check out Dr. Ronnie as well. He's doing Marvel Spider-Man Remastered at the moment. He's also doing a playthrough of Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. He's actually a scientist in real life, and he's actually working in the field of regenerative medicine. He's working on cures for things like Parkinson's, as well as MS as well. In fact, he actually has a campaign that he's joined Mauler on to fight against MS and to raise funds for that. So if you want to check out some fun streams, but also check out what rewards Ronnie and Mauler actually have on their channel for reaching different tiers of donations, then highly recommend checking out Ronnie's channel as well as Mauler, of course. And speaking of Mauler, highly recommend checking out his channel as well. As I said, he's collaborating with Dr. Ronnie to do the streams and to do the campaign to raise money for MS. He's also a great streamer, has a great positive community too. He's playing through games like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, also Grounded, as well as Goose Goose Duck. He actually plays with viewers as well, so if you're looking for a streamer that plays games like Goose Goose Duck with viewers, highly recommend checking out Mauler for that content as well. And Chronically Clementine, thank you so much. I hope that you have a good one. Thank you for being here too. And Lucinda, absolutely no worries about the stream. Thank you for joining also. Molly, you finish up as soon as I get in? Damn you. Yeah, sorry dude. Sorry about the timing of that. Really do appreciate you stopping in though, buddy. And I hope that you've been having a really good day. And I'll be doing a longer stream of this tomorrow, so that'll be good to do another day. Especially because this is only my second week of playing through the game. I actually started it last Wednesday. Off the Shelf, absolutely no worries at all. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you have a good one. Chronically glad you're enjoying yourself. Lords, this menu music makes you happy. Oh, absolutely, Chronically. You know, I wasn't sure before I started the playthrough what I would feel like with the game, but I'm absolutely really enjoying it. That's okay, Mauler. Absolutely no worries at all for the shout out. More than happy to give you one, dude. Hey Zayas, good morning. What terrible things have you done as a renegade so far? Let's see. I haven't caused the extinction of an alien race yet, so there's that. We've been a bit of an asshole to characters like Tali by refusing to give her the information that we retrieved about the Geth. So that's a bit of a point of contention and that kind of stuff. But I'm really enjoying choosing the red Renegade dialogue options as well, especially when you see Commander Shepard slam the person up against the wall and then basically getting close and be like, look, listen here, you're going to do exactly as I'm telling you to do, right? And they're like, oh, yes. Lucinda, oh, thanks for the kind words and the shout out. More than happy to give you a shout out, Lucinda, and you know, definitely well deserved as well. So it'll be 10 years next month. Holy shit, time flies so damn fast. That's just crazy to think. Like, holy shit, 10 years. And that's absolutely no worries at all. It was really cool to come across your channel to see that you actually were on Twitch as well, so that was really awesome to see that. And you know, there's so many things in video games that can remind one of movies and vice versa, so I think it's a perfect marriage. Lucinda, a fellow Enigma sub also. Yeah, I haven't actually caught one of his streams for a long time actually, because usually when he's starting his streams I'm starting mine, kind of thing. Chronically, no way, you have MS. You do a lot of charity stuff for MS Society in the UK. Is Ronnie off the shelf reviews? Never mind, scrolled up and found it. Oh, that's okay, Chronically. Yeah, but that's great, you know, that you also do a lot of charity for it as well. And having the first-hand perspective on it definitely is something that allows you to be able to let people know, you know, from first-hand experience what it's actually like. That's okay, Mauler. Absolutely no trouble, buddy. Oh, I forgot to mention who we're going to raid. Sorry, we're actually going to raid Crocodiles, who's playing the very first Assassin's Creed as part of his annual series playthroughs. So I'll just set up that raid. Zayas, lol, wait until you get to Mass Effect 3 and all your choices result in the most horrifying storyline, lol. Yeah, I still haven't decided if I'm going to do Renegade for 2 and 3, but you never know, I might want to make it all consistent and then see how things go. But that would be interesting to see what the total outcome's going to be, that's for sure. So I'm going to put into chat a raid message that people can use. Feel free to also add your own emotes to that as well. So there's that one. I also have some free follower emotes. One of the new ones I actually put up was related to Lara Croft, but she's looking very much like an assassin, because in Rise of the Tomb Raider there was a teaser trailer where it showed her with a hoodie on, and so I decided to make that a free follower emote. So I'll put a raid message in there that also has that as some options. And I finally made it actually work in other streams, which I was very, very happy about. It only makes sense for that to happen. So there's also that as well. Thank you everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that everyone has a good one. And we're streaming this again in probably 12, 13, 14 hours time. You gotta love time zones. Thanks everyone. Until next time.